All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So this is a viewer request video. We're going to look at MULN, TRKA. I'm going to add HUBC. Been a while since I've talked about that one. And then GAN, G-A-N. So look, MULN, the last time I covered it was basically the 20th. And I mean, the 20th was an ugly day to say the least, all right? I think there's a little bit more I can add today in terms of like actual analysis. But I mean, there's just been a lot of bad things that have been happening here. The reverse split definitely didn't help anything. And I remember saying, like, when this happened, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back to near reverse split, levels. And legit, these are some of my original lines from MULN, which is super, super sad. You know what I mean? But again, there might be something worth looking at on MULN for sure. So I'll at least, there's a little bit of maybe optimism. I'll at least say it like that. The rest, I don't think that there's much optimism in all honesty. TRKA, HUBC, and I think GAN actually was the worst of the group. But yeah, it's not going to be the prettiest of videos, I will say that. But sorry, this is post-market. Let me show regular. But yeah, nonetheless, again, I'm not here to be a fanboy and pretend things are good, right? I'm going to give you my honest opinion. So before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this thing with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do really does help me out with these YouTube algorithms, all right? And then, hey, just being here, super, super appreciated, okay? So look, let's get into it. And again, there's a common theme I always talk about, right? You fall way far from the 8, you make your way back up. You fall far, you make your way back to it. You fall far, you make your way back to it. You fall far. We've kind of made our way back to it, all right? And look, this doji right here has me a little concerned because it is actually under our last green candle. But I'll tell you, volume has me a little happy because it kind of looks like it's calming down. All right, it's still very high. We're still well above the 50 moving average, but what was this like continual uptrend is now actually starting to teeter off, okay? And even if I just go like this, right, it's still kind of, because I'm assuming that like that's the real line right there. I think this one and this one are part of it. Maybe these 4 are outliers, but yeah, at this point I think we're coming down. And hey, the big sell-off ending is a real important way to get this thing to start going up, okay? End of the day, I always say bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. So, in a lot of ways, my limits kind of are 22 cents and then 48 cents. But really, either of those would be pretty big movements from the 17 that we're sitting at right now. You know what I mean? So going from 17 to 22 doesn't sound like a lot, but basically every 2 cents is 10%, and we're going up well more than 4 cents. You know what I mean? So that's an easy 20. And then again, if this can get over 23, man, from 23, it might be a quick ride to almost 50. And look, you can even just play it even safer, basically get in at 26 and ride that all the way up to 40 something. You know what I mean? Like that's a very, nothing but red, hopefully green all the way there, right? But again, just looking at this stock, it's been a very, very hard struggle to get over the 8, okay? So it's by no means gonna be an easy thing. But again, what looked like this continual rise in volume is now kind of starting to teeter. And I'm hoping that this continues down, and then that might actually start leading to green. That green volume means green days too, right? So look, our MACD doesn't look horrible. It's actually working its way up, trying to get a little closer to the 0. Dude, this RSI is so low. You gotta believe that some sort of recovery is gonna come. You know what I mean? So do I genuinely believe we're gonna get over the 20? No, not at all. I'm still not wildly sure we're even gonna actually like go over the 8 and run. Maybe this is as high as we can go, 26 actually. All right, I don't know if we'll get over 26. If this thing gets to 27, and I think that's where I'm going to set my alert. I think a 27 set alert on Mullen is not that bad because, again, nothing but reds all the way to the 20 from there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see. And again, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if it keeps going down. But again, volume, just if volume can it's funny. I always say I want volume to beat the 50. I think I would need volume to go below the 50 because that'll mean like the hardcore selling has calmed, hopefully. And then from there, maybe some buying will take off. But not much to talk about on the weekly because, yeah, you can't imagine this is going to look good. What is this at? Damn, this is all the way at the 70s. Interesting. Okay, interesting. This hasn't quite stopped that hard either. Right, this is still actually continuing to go up, but it's going to be hard to hit this. I'm interested here. I'm not going to lie. Nothing looks fantastic, and you need a lot of confirmation. But yeah, get me over this, and I'm really interested. I might watch it around 22, but I'm not going to be setting an alert here. I'll tell you that much. So TRKA, Turka. Man, rough. Okay, again, reverse split 1 to 25. Literally, we just came off a stock that did a 1 to 25 reverse split, and you can see what happened not that long after the split, right? Am I saying Turka's going to do the exact same thing? Look, I'm not necessarily saying that, okay? However, I hate reverse splits. I always say that they're stock killers, they're price killers. We're definitely well under all 5 moving averages. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So under all, and then are we in all-time lows? Is this what that 322 was? Yeah, we are definitely in all-time lows. I'll actually go ahead and lower this to there. We're still, oops, a little too high, sorry. We're still well below that, right? But that's basically the last weekly candle. So, geez, yeah. Okay, again, we're in all-time lows. We're under the 8. We're under the 20. We're under all 5, obviously. Yeah, I know this kind of looks good. I do not care about this at all. This, I know, looks a little bit low. I gotta believe. Yeah, what was this right here? Look, we've been in the 12s not that many months ago. You know what I mean? Have we stayed there below longer? What's this one? An 11, 12, 14, 15. Like, we were in the, like, I do not believe the worst is over here, all right? I will say, hey, the 8's not going down as drastically as I would expect, right? It had this, oops, what happened there? I think I went too far down. It had this level slope, give or take, right? Something like that, and it's now kind of teetering, but still, this is going down, this is going down. Looks like that's going to death cross pretty soon when the big one crosses by, below the low one. I'm going to be honest, like, I don't like that. I really, really think it's going to be almost, I don't want to say impossible because that's a really bad thing to say, but I think it's going to be really hard to get over 3. I think it's going to be really hard to get over this average 20 right here, the 20 moving average, and basically $3 right here for sure. You know what I mean? So hopefully it can break the 8 and at least run to that. But again, man, this just looks like there's not a lot of good here. Volume looks pretty bad, right? Like, I mean, this is not good. All right, there's not too much more. Again, the weekly's not going to look good if the daily's that bad, right? So I don't really have too much more to talk about here. Okay, HUBC. Damn, I can't really tell what happened here. Did earnings drop yet or not? I don't think I've seen. Excuse me. I don't think I've seen anything about earnings just yet. But man, I don't know what this crazy wick down here was. I can't believe this thing got as low as 35, all right? That said, these last couple days have been a little decent recovery, but we see it often, right? It's literally how I started the MULN video, and I'm sure there's going to be examples of it here. Look, you fall away from the 8, you come up to the 8. You fall away from the 8, you come to the 8. Fall away, come up. Fall away, come up, right? We've fallen away. We've now come up. Are we going to break it and get over it? I don't know, right? And I mean, just look at the history here. It's been really hard to get over the 8, let alone the 20, which has pretty much been right there, right? So I can't, I find it very hard to believe we're going to break 60, let alone do I think we're going to break, 56, 57, right? So man, and again, under all the moving averages, under all five, there's just not a lot to talk about here. There's not a lot to like, and again, the weekly's not going to look good if that's what the daily's looking like, right? Under all the moving averages here, under all the moving averages there. So yeah, and then like I said, I think GAN is the worst of them because first off, the volume is just horrible. All right, I can only imagine what I mean, it's not as bad as I expected. There's at least a couple more candles, but a lot of dashes. I don't like dashes on the minute. All right, just to me, that's what I call a shady stock, you know. But again, you're under all the moving averages. It made a decent run. I'll at least say that. It wasn't a wild multiplier, but hey, it went from $1.25 to $1.50. That's actually a 20% swing right there. There's only 5 quarters in $1.25, and we just gained one more, right? So that's not too bad in its own little, like, insignificant little by itself, right? That, and you know what the sad thing even is, I'm just kind of looking at this as I'm talking, right? It looks like there was a downtrend that seemingly broke, right? Like I would have assumed top of this, hitting all this, it made a good little break of a downtrend, but yeah, clearly that did not hold. Let me just kind of zoom out. Man, this thing, it's sad that the 100 did what the 100 did, right? Obviously, you can see it. We've touched it here. We've actually been over it a little bit, but yeah, I would have hoped that yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? And again, like I said, it looked like it broke the downtrend, which again would have been a little more optimistic. I thought maybe we would have broken that and gone to this, just kind of looking at it. But yeah, that's a scary MACD, and that's a scary RSI. And look, our RSI's been single digits for like a number of days, right? So I'm a little worried, and actually volume's picking up a bit. So yeah, GAN does scare me, and again, we've fallen out of everything. So what does the weekly look like? This might be a little bit more interesting. A weekly, damn, we did lose the 8. Obviously, I just drew that downtrend right there, right? But man, that's rough. It is. It's rough. It is. These moving averages suck. There's not too much more I can say. And as important as it is breaking a downtrend, like this actually, I mean, man, yeah, there's not too much more I can say. Let me know if anyone disagrees with anything. Otherwise, hey, I appreciate you all so much.